Well, hi, good morning everyone, and welcome back to Market Edge with Arjit Garg, a SEBI registered research analyst. Yesterday we saw Nifty closing at 23,123, and currently we have both equal amount of good amount of news and equal amount of negative news as well. So let's see towards which side the tug of war is going to win. To decode more about the market today, of course, we have Arjit Garg. Arjit, thank you so much for joining us, and let's start with a quick wraparound for yesterday's market.
Thank you so much for having me, Ripadhaman. A very warm morning to all the viewers here. So, talking about yesterday's market move, so we saw a gap down, and the entire market move was very negative. So, market breadth was negative, the sentiments were negative, and of course, the market move was also negative. Nifty had closed with a loss of over 1% yesterday, approximately 245 points down below 23,150 at 23,123. Similarly, Sensex, same move, opened with a gap down, the market breadth, the sentiments, the sectors, everything was red, closed with a loss of almost 1% at 73,524. Now, the important thing to watch out here is that our important support of 23,150 got breached yesterday, not once but twice. In the morning, the first candle where the market had opened, वो first target candle में भी पहले उसने breach किया 23,500. Then it tried to go towards 23,300, but Nifty failed and then came back crashing down below 23,150. Although it closed near 23,100 and 23,123, but the important support of 23,150 was broken. That is important. So, which means अब जब support break होता है, तो even if the sentiments are positive, market still goes negative and goes down to the next support which is available. For Nifty's case, the next support is at 23,000, and uske niche we have the support at 22,800, right? So this was the markets about technicals. Quickly, let's talk about the index movement as well. Talking about the broader market participation, so all the indices here are negative. You talk about mid cap, small cap, large cap, or you just talk about Nifty 500, next 50. You talk about it and it was in the red. So the market breadth was negative. Now let's quickly look at the sectoral indices. Apart from healthcare, all the other sectors were in the red. If you look at the top losing sectors, we had auto, media, IT, we had oil and gas and consumer durables as the top losing sectors. All in all the sectors apart from healthcare was barely positive. Apart from that, all the other sectors were down at least 1 to 1.5% down, which is again a very big negative even for today's market. So for today's market, we do have a couple of positive triggers and a couple of negative triggers. If you talk about the positive triggers, we have the DIIs continuously buying in to our market. So if we just load up the DII data here for the entire month of May as well as June so far, DIIs have been continuously buying the market. Yesterday's market, they bought in 5,000 crore. Before that, they bought in 9,100. Before that, 4,300. So if you look at monthly data, in June so far, they've bought in around 39,000 crores. So 39,000 crores of money that is just being pushed into the market. And on top of this, we already have the retail investors investing in the market. So that is one big positive trigger. The second trigger is the defensive sectors are doing good. So defensive sector, where the only sector we have here is healthcare. So when we talk about stocks, we'll talk about the defensive stocks which are currently driving the markets and are holding the markets. कि यार ऐसा नहीं है कि बिल्कुल कोरियन मार्केट्स की तरह ब्लड बात हो गया हो. ऐसा नहीं है that we are falling 9%, 10% in a day. Some stocks and some counters are there that are protecting the market from falling very fast, very soon, right? So these are the couple of technical and the positive factors that we have. On negative front, we have the crude oil or the UK oil, that is Brent crude, which was rallying yesterday. So we had Brent crude above $95 yesterday, which was a very big negative trigger because again, the US-Iran war, it was taking new fresh turns once again. And at this point, I believe almost everyone has realized that whenever the market would start rallying again, these two countries are going to again start fighting to bring the markets down. And जैसे ही वापस से market down आ गया, वापस they'll do something to bring the markets back up. So ऑलमोस्ट एवरीबडी इज नाउ अवेयर अबाउट इट. सो जैसे 95 के ऊपर गया, हल्की सी वॉलीटिलिटी आई मार्केट के अंदर, बट अगेन बाय द एंड ऑफ द डे yesterday there were news and there were triggers that okay, so the US Iran war, maybe they are ending towards like doing a ceasefire once again, maybe there's a peace deal that's going to happen. So that again triggered the fall in crude oil. This does not mean that our markets would be positive today, because if you look at technicals, we are already negative. If you look at the gift nifty, which is the futures of our markets trading in the gift nifty gift city, that is also negative. So gift nifty indicates कि open कहाँ पे होने वाला है. Although the US markets were positive in yesterday's session, Asian peers are also almost positive, but the sentiments here are still negative. That is why we might open negative, and these are all the triggers that we have to look at for the markets before opening today. Repeat.
Got it. Actually, that was my next question coming up. What would be the sentiments for today based on the negatives and the positives? But thanks for answering that. Can we also look at the Korean index? What is happening in their market?
So interesting thing that's happening in Korea's market, which is cost by composite. So if you just look at the charts on a daily time frame, so Korean markets are really in the news, and almost everybody is in a FOMO with Korean markets, because Korean markets have delivered over 100% returns in just 6 months. So if I just load it here from December, let's count in from December, November 25th, which is close to 1st of December, till today. So you see 104.51% return. And if I have to just look at the previous peak that we had, the all-time high, it's 133% returns. November, December, January, February, March, April, May. 7 months, 131% return. So again, see, the reason behind this rally is very simple. Korean market is a pro semiconductor market. All of the major companies that manufacture semiconductors and use semiconductors, you name it, we have Toshiba, we have Korea, we have Samsung, we have LG. All of these companies, उनको semiconductors की जरूरत पड़ती है. So Korea is a pro semiconductor market. Same thing has happened with Taiwan as well. Taiwan is also a very pro AI and semiconductor led market. तो वहाँ पे भी returns अच्छे खासे आ रहे हैं. Not as good as Korea. Korea has been, like, if I'm not wrong, Korea has been the best performing market across the globe. 160, 130% returns in like 6, 7 months. That's like no market can give that. And because such huge returns were observed in the markets, FIs now have started pulling out of the Korean market, which is the reason why we are seeing this fall. So if I have to just map this in from the all-time high to the current level, that's like Korean markets are around 12-13% up. See, the logic behind, again, we have seen this in the Indian market as well. In 2020, after the crash, when FIs just started buying in like crazy, because our stocks were available at a very cheaper rate, and the companies were fundamentally good at that time. हमारे मार्केट ने 2000 2021 22 23 ये 3 साल में हमारे मार्केट्स ने भी बहुत मल्टी बैगर रिटर्न्स दिए. द निफ्टी वाज एट व्हाट 8000 9000 rupees. From that point, we came to 20 to 23,000 rupees. That's almost 200% returns. And जैसे ही रिटर्न आए उसके बाद अब आप देख रहे हो ऑलरेडी मार्केट में दैट मार्केट्स आर ऑलमोस्ट अंडर प्रेशर फ्रॉम द लास्ट 2 years. Same thing, same story is being repeated in Korea. The lesson that we have to learn from this is if FIs are continuously buying into a market, like जैसे अंधी बाइंग कर रहे हैं बिल्कुल, like there's no tomorrow, they're just buying in like crazy, then maybe that's the right time for you to reevaluate your stocks in the portfolio, because FIs जब बेचना चालू करते हैं तो फिर इस तरीके से एक दिन में 9%, एक दिन में 10% मार्केट गिरता है. So if you're seeing unrealistic returns in the market, I think it's the time for you to reassess your stock, relook at, rebalance your entire portfolio, check the stocks once again, and see if this what are the stocks valued at right now. If they're overvalued, undervalued, what's the condition? If they're overvalued, then you might have to get rid of those stocks before the stock starts crashing. Keep them.
Got it. Now let's come back to the Indian markets and look at stocks to watch out for today.
Sure. So, talking about the defensive stocks, as we were talking about a couple of minutes ago. So, PFC to care, this is one of the power sectors. But if we talk about defensive sectors from healthcare, I'd like to show you a couple of examples that were doing good. So, we have Sun Pharmaceutical, which was barely positive and which was trying to hold the index yesterday. Another great stock was SBIN from the banking sector. You see the positive movement in the banks, you see the positive movement in SBI. This is the trigger that again, another big news about SBI. Not a big news, but the technical structure here for SBI is very positive. So you see double bottom pattern is being formed and it is near its neckline right now. So the neckline is over here. Double bottom pattern, if I have to draw it, so ये आपका first बॉटम हो गया, दिस इज योर सेकंड बॉटम एंड दिस इज द डब्ल्यू पैटर्न दैट हैज फॉर्म. अब यहाँ से रिवर्सल के लिए ताकि अच्छा खासा मोमेंटम आए, एस बी आई विल हैव टू क्रॉस दिस पर्टिकुलर लेवल ताकि यहाँ से यू कैन रैली बैक टू 1000 रुपीज और अबव दैट. Right, so this is the pattern that is being formed in SBIN, which is uh, which is the reason why we have SBI on the list. The third stock would be REC. REC Limited, again a very famous infrastructure railway stock. So यहाँ पे भी rounding bottom pattern is being formed here. This was positive yesterday and it is still holding the index. I have good hopes from here. REC राउंडिंग बॉटम पैटर्न के ऑलमोस्ट ये भी आई थिंक नेकलाइन के आसपास में ही है एट अराउंड 344 रुपीज. थोड़ा सा इसको ऊपर ले लेते हैं ओवर हियर, राइट, 344 345. इफ दिस लेवल इज ब्रोकन, which means yesterday's high. If the yesterday's high is broken, then I think REC will do very well as well. And another stock from healthcare segment, if I have to look at, since we're talking about defensive and the sectors that were positive, another stock is Max Healthcare. So Max Healthcare, another awesome stock, has been in my recommendation list and has been recommended on multiple platforms. So viewers discretion requested. A quick disclaimer: all of the stocks that we're discussing, I or my associates, we do not have any holdings in these stocks. These are just purely for educational information purposes, not a stock recommendation here. So Max Healthcare, another stock. Now, this stock does not have any specific pattern as such, but the entire technical structure over here indicates that Max Healthcare is heading towards its previous high for 22nd of May, which was 1067. So if we have to measure it from here, from the current level, we are talking at least 6 to 6.5% upside in Max Healthcare, which is still remaining. Now, since we are mapping the high of 22nd of May, if you look at any stock, almost all the stocks are at least 15 to 20% away from the high that they made on 22nd of May. वहां से लेके अब तक जो entire market movement आई है, that has been nothing but crazy. So these were a couple of stocks that we had to discuss: Max Healthcare, SBIN, REC, and Sun Pharma. Two stocks that I think almost everybody should stay away from. The number one stock is Geo Finance. Now, Geo Finance का जब IPO आया था, almost everybody was crazy about it. They were like, यार मुकेश अंबानी भाई, Geo Finance, crazy stuff. Although their business might sound good, maybe they're into mutual funds, they have tied up with BlackRock and all, but the fundamentals are not very good. The fundamentals are horrible. So avoid Geo Finance at all costs. If you have it in your portfolio, consider selling and getting rid of that stock rather than holding a stock. It's like it's a knife that is falling, right? So why would you just keep holding on to it so it'll hurt you and your portfolio more? So rather than that, get rid of Geo Finance, let it correct, let it come down to 100, 150 level. At that point of time, maybe if the fundamentals do not deteriorate further, maybe Geo Finance would be a good stock to buy at that time. But for now, at 228, it's a clear sell. Don't look at buying Geo Finance anymore. And the other stock that you have to stay away from is Wipro. We had discussed Wipro a few days ago, wherein both of our targets were hit. The main reason why we were bullish for Wipro was that uh, it had a buyback coming up for Wipro. Now that buyback has happened, and after that, People are going crazy about Wipro. The fundamentals, again, the results came in quite bad. So Wipro is another stock, just like Geo Finance. Stay away from IT, stay away from stocks like Geo Finance and Wipro. Consider staying away from other major IT stocks as well, like TCS, Infosys. Try to stay away from them as well. The goal here is to make bets or make investments that will help your portfolio grow, right? So for that, for positive growth, we need to avoid a couple of stocks, and Wipro and Geofinance are one of them. People.
Got it. Now let's dig into the open interest and look at technical levels for Nifty today.
Sure. So looking at open interest over here, okay, I think I got locked out here. No problem. We had an alternative here. So talking about open interest here. So if you look at change in OI, so call overall the in the entire option chain, the average change in OI for call is 2106, and the same for put OI is 1359, which means there are more open contracts in call side. If that is the case, obviously the markets will be pulled towards the next support at 23,000 and 22,800. Now, to decode the exact point जहाँ से reversal आ सकता है, I think that level on the upper side would be 23,200, 23,250, and 22,300, 23,300, because these are the three areas जहाँ पे your call OI is the highest. तो अगर market ऊपर जाएगा, तो we have the resistance already set between 23,200 and 23,300. On the lower end, we already have the 23,100 जहाँ पे highest put OI है. So ideally अगर नीचे जाएगा तो यही नीचे से ही between 2350 and 23,100 वहाँ से reversal आना चाहिए. But if that does not happen, then the next support is directly at 23,000 and 22,950. So this sounds a little dangerous, although राइट नाउ जो हमारा yesterday का हमारा क्लोज आया था दैट वाज 23,103. बट ठीक है, अगर यहाँ से हल्का सा नीचे आता भी है, so 23,000 and 23,950 we have already have the levels marked at 23,000, so that should be an immediate support, and 23,300 on the higher end should be a resistance. So the levels are marked already. All we have to do is in the next couple of minutes we'll have the pre-market levels already there, so we'll see which direction the market opens, and we'll see which direction the market goes and if it respects our levels or not. People.
Great. And for everyone watching, if you want to do one-on-one consultation or get trade recommendations from Ajit Gar, you can directly connect with him on Zdvisor app. The link I've put in the description. And thanks for everyone joining, and thank you, Ajit, for all your insights.
Thank you.